Consistency. It's a word we hear often, yet it's something many of us struggle to maintain. In today's fast-paced world, staying disciplined and focused can feel like a constant battle. But what if there was a timeless philosophy that could help you overcome this struggle? Welcome to today's video, where we dive into the teachings of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that offers powerful tools for self-mastery, mental clarity, and, yes, consistency. In this video, we'll explore how Stoic principles can help you stay on track, even when motivation wanes, and why forcing yourself to be consistent is not only possible, but essential for living a purposeful life. So, grab a seat, and let's uncover the Stoic path to a more consistent, fulfilling life. Number 1. Know your reason to stay on track. In the journey of life, there are countless challenges and obstacles that can often make it difficult to stay focused on our goals. Whether you're pursuing a career, education, personal development, or any other aspiration, the temptation to give up or lose sight of your purpose is ever present. This is why understanding your reason for staying on track is not just important, it is essential. Your why is the driving force that keeps you moving forward even when the road gets tough and your energy wanes. When you are clear about why you're doing something, you are more likely to overcome setbacks and push through difficulties. But the power of knowing your reason goes beyond just keeping you motivated in the short term. It helps you shape your entire approach to challenges, success, and personal growth. At its core, staying on track is about maintaining a sense of purpose. This purpose acts as a beacon, guiding your actions, decisions, and mindset. Think of it as the compass that directs you toward your ultimate destination, even when you encounter detours along the way. When you have a strong, well-defined reason, distractions are easier to spot and avoid. They lose their grip because the bigger picture is clearer. For example, if you are working towards a career goal, your reason might be the desire to make a meaningful impact in your field or provide for your family. With this strong sense of purpose, you'll likely be more willing to put in the extra hours, sacrifice short-term comforts, and persist through tough times because you know that every step is bringing you closer to something meaningful. Knowing your reason also gives you a deeper sense of accountability, not just to others but to yourself. It turns your aspirations into commitments. When you connect deeply with your why, it's no longer about achieving a goal just for the sake of achievement. You are working towards something that matters to you, something that reflects your values, passions, or long-term vision. This internal commitment is powerful. It compels you to stay disciplined and consistent. Even on days when motivation seems low, your reason becomes the reminder you need to keep moving forward, even if progress feels slow or incremental. The reality is that life isn't always smooth, and your path will likely be filled with setbacks. There will be days when things don't go as planned and you might question whether it's all worth it. During these moments, it's essential to have a strong, grounding reason for why you're doing what you're doing. Without this reason, it's easy to give up or lose motivation, especially when the going gets tough. This is where your why becomes even more powerful. It's in these moments of adversity that your purpose can serve as the driving force to keep you going. For instance, if you're working towards an academic qualification and the work feels overwhelming, remembering that this degree is a stepping stone to the life you envision can renew your commitment. Your reason gives you the mental resilience needed to handle obstacles, as you know that every challenge is simply part of the larger journey towards your goal. In addition, knowing your reason fosters a sense of intrinsic motivation. Unlike extrinsic motivation, which comes from external rewards or pressures, intrinsic motivation is driven by personal values and inner desires. When your reason is tied to something deeply meaningful to you, the effort you put in becomes its own reward. For example, if you want to improve your health, your reason might be to live a long, fulfilling life so you can enjoy time with loved ones or pursue passions without limitations. This type of motivation is more sustainable because it's not reliant on external validation. It's about aligning your actions with your core values, and as a result, your sense of satisfaction comes from within. Moreover, Having a clear reason helps you define what success looks like to you. Success is a highly personal concept, and when you know your reason, you're able to set goals that truly resonate with you. Without a clear reason, you might fall prey to societal pressures or external expectations about what success should look like. But when you know why you're pursuing something, your definition of success aligns with your personal vision. You're no longer measuring your progress against others. You're focused on your journey and your milestones. In conclusion, knowing your reason to stay on track is more than just a motivational tool. It's a vital foundation for resilience, focus, and success. It helps you stay disciplined when distractions arise, provides a deeper sense of commitment, and fosters intrinsic motivation. With a clear why, setbacks are no longer deterrents, but temporary challenges that can be overcome. Your reason transforms the process of pursuing your goals into a meaningful journey that reflects your values and aspirations. When you know your reason, nothing can derail you from your path, because it's not just about achieving something, it's about the purpose behind it. Number 2. Take responsibility, take control. Taking responsibility and taking control are fundamental concepts that shape our lives, our actions, and ultimately, our success. These two ideas, although interconnected, are often misunderstood or neglected in the hustle of daily life. We are quick to assign blame for our circumstances or failures to external factors, such as luck, other people, or even fate. However, true growth and empowerment stem from recognizing that we are, at the core, responsible for our own lives and actions. To take responsibility is to acknowledge that we have the power to influence, change, and control our outcomes, regardless of the challenges we face. Responsibility is about ownership, owning our actions, choices, and even our reactions to life's events. It's an acknowledgement that we cannot control everything in life, but we can control how we respond to it. When we take responsibility, we stop being passive participants in our own lives. We no longer blame our circumstances, upbringing, or the people around us for our setbacks. Instead, we embrace our role in creating the outcomes we experience. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating because it empowers us to take action instead of remaining stuck in a cycle of blame and helplessness. For example, when faced with a failure such as a missed deadline or an unfulfilled goal, it's easy to blame external factors. I was too busy, the team didn't support me, or the weather was bad. While these things may have played a role, taking responsibility requires looking inward and asking, what could I have done differently? Or, what can I do now to correct the situation? This shift in thinking doesn't mean we ignore external factors, but rather, we focus on what we can control and how we can respond in a way that moves us forward. Taking control is the natural next step after taking responsibility. It involves actively shaping our destiny by making conscious decisions that align with our values, goals, and priorities. Control in this context does not refer to the power over others or the world around us, but the power we have over ourselves. It is the ability to steer our lives in the direction we want them to go, despite external challenges. Taking control is about asserting ourselves, setting clear intentions, and committing to actions that will lead us toward our desired outcomes. One of the most powerful ways to take control of our lives is by setting clear, actionable goals. When we have a clear vision of where we want to go and how we plan to get there, we can begin to take deliberate steps toward achieving that vision. This is where the two concepts of responsibility and control come together. Responsibility comes in the form of planning, consistency, and accountability. We are responsible for creating the plan, sticking to it, and adapting when necessary. Control comes from our ability to execute that plan and make adjustments along the way. This dynamic duo of responsibility and control extends into every aspect of life, from personal relationships to career progression. In relationships, for instance, taking responsibility means being accountable for our actions, words, and behavior. If there is tension or conflict, instead of blaming the other person, we must ask ourselves, what can I do to improve this situation? How can I show up differently? Similarly, in our careers, taking responsibility for our professional growth means acknowledging that we are the ones who must invest time and energy into learning new skills, seeking out opportunities, and pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zones. While external factors may affect our career trajectory, ultimately, we are responsible for how we navigate those challenges and seize opportunities. Taking responsibility and taking control also have profound impacts on our mental health and well-being. When we relinquish responsibility and refuse to take control, we may feel helpless, anxious, or disempowered. This can lead to a sense of stagnation or burnout as we feel trapped in circumstances beyond our control. Conversely, when we accept responsibility for our lives and actively take control, we begin to regain a sense of agency and confidence. We learn that we are not victims of our circumstances, but active participants in the creation of our future. This sense of empowerment can reduce stress, increase resilience, and enhance our overall quality of life. In conclusion, the path to a fulfilling and successful life begins with taking responsibility and taking control. By owning our actions and decisions, we step into our power and begin to shape our futures with intention and purpose. Instead of reacting passively to the world around us, we become active creators of our own stories. When we embrace responsibility and control, we unlock our true potential, and in doing so, we set the stage for greater achievement, personal growth, and a life lived on our own terms. It all starts with the simple yet profound decision to take responsibility and take control. Number 3, keep going even when it's hard. Life can often feel overwhelming, and at times, we may find ourselves standing at the foot of a mountain that seems impossible to climb. Challenges, failures, and setbacks can make us question our abilities, our strength, and even our purpose. However, in those moments when everything feels too heavy, when the world seems to be against us, the most important thing is to keep going, even when it's hard. Progress isn't always about giant leaps. Sometimes it's the smallest step forward that can make the difference. It's in those tough times that we discover who we truly are and what we're capable of. Perseverance becomes our greatest ally, helping us push through the hardest of days. When we face challenges, our natural instinct is often to give up, to seek comfort in the familiar or the easy. But growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when we push ourselves beyond the limits we've set for ourselves. Consider the example of a seed planted in the soil. In the beginning, it's dark, cramped, and full of resistance. Yet, it keeps pushing upward, reaching toward the light. It might face heavy rain, strong winds, and harsh conditions, but it continues to grow, slowly but surely. Just like that seed, we too must endure the struggles and keep pushing forward, even when it seems like progress is slow or non-existent. Success doesn't happen overnight, and there is no straight path to achieving our goals. The road is often winding, filled with obstacles that seem insurmountable at times. But each hurdle we face teaches us valuable lessons. Every time we encounter failure, it's an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Those moments of struggle often shape us in ways success alone cannot. It's easy to feel disheartened when things don't go according to plan, but it's important to remember that setbacks aren't permanent. They're part of the journey, not the end. If we choose to give up after every failure, we deny ourselves the chance to see what's possible on the other side of the struggle. Even the most successful people have faced challenges, doubts, and moments when they considered giving up. What sets them apart isn't a lack of obstacles, but their ability to keep going despite them. They understand that perseverance is key. They know that the hardest times often lead to the greatest rewards. Think about any accomplishment you're proud of. Chances are, it wasn't achieved without facing difficulties along the way. Whether it was completing a long-term project, overcoming a personal struggle, or learning a new skill, you had to push through moments of doubt, exhaustion, and frustration. But when you look back, you realize that those tough moments were essential to your growth. They made the achievement all the more meaningful. During challenging times, it's important to remember that we are not alone. Everyone experiences hardship, and many people around us are also fighting battles we may not see. The support of others, whether it's family, friends, or even a mentor, can make all the difference. Sometimes, simply knowing that someone else believes in us can help us keep going when we feel like giving up. And in turn, when we push through our own struggles, we become an inspiration to others who might be facing their own challenges. Our perseverance becomes a light, showing others that it's possible to keep going, no matter how difficult the journey may be. Taking things one step at a time can make the process feel more manageable. When we break down our goals into smaller, achievable tasks, we can focus on progress rather than perfection. Each small victory, no matter how insignificant it may seem, brings us closer to our ultimate goal. When we relinquish responsibility and refuse to take control, we may feel helpless, anxious, or disempowered. This can lead to a sense of stagnation or burnout as we feel trapped in circumstances beyond our control. Conversely, when we accept responsibility for our lives and actively take control, we begin to regain a sense of agency and confidence. We learn that we are not victims of our circumstances, but active participants in the creation of our future. This sense of empowerment can reduce stress, increase resilience, and enhance our overall quality of life. In conclusion, the path to a fulfilling and successful life begins with taking responsibility and taking control. By owning our actions and decisions, we step into our power and begin to shape our futures with intention and purpose. Instead of reacting passively to the world around us, we become active creators of our own stories. When we embrace responsibility and control, we unlock our true potential, and in doing so, we set the stage for greater achievement, personal growth, and a life lived on our own terms. It all starts with the simple yet profound decision to take responsibility and take control. Number 3, keep going even when it's hard. Life can often feel overwhelming, and at times, we may find ourselves standing at the foot of a mountain that seems impossible to climb. Challenges, failures, and setbacks can make us question our abilities, our strength, and even our purpose. However, in those moments when everything feels too heavy, when the world seems to be against us, the most important thing is to keep going, even when it's hard. Progress isn't always about giant leaps. Sometimes it's the smallest step forward that can make the difference. It's in those tough times that we discover who we truly are and what we're capable of. Perseverance becomes our greatest ally, helping us push through the hardest of days. When we face challenges, our natural instinct is often to give up, to seek comfort in the familiar or the easy. But growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when we push ourselves beyond the limits we've set for ourselves. Consider the example of a seed planted in the soil. In the beginning, it's dark, cramped, and full of resistance. Yet, it keeps pushing upward, reaching toward the light. It might face heavy rain, strong winds, and harsh conditions, but it continues to grow, slowly but surely. Just like that seed, we too must endure the struggles and keep pushing forward, even when it seems like progress is slow or non-existent. Success doesn't happen overnight, and there is no straight path to achieving our goals. The road is often winding, filled with obstacles that seem insurmountable at times. But each hurdle we face teaches us valuable lessons. Every time we encounter failure, it's an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Those moments of struggle often shape us in ways success alone cannot. It's easy to feel disheartened when things don't go according to plan, but it's important to remember that setbacks aren't permanent. They're part of the journey, not the end. If we choose to give up after every failure, we deny ourselves the chance to see what's possible on the other side of the struggle. Even the most successful people have faced challenges, doubts, and moments when they considered giving up. What sets them apart isn't a lack of obstacles, but their ability to keep going despite them. They understand that perseverance is key. They know that the hardest times often lead to the greatest rewards. Think about any accomplishment you're proud of. Chances are, it wasn't achieved without facing difficulties along the way. Whether it was completing a long-term project, overcoming a personal struggle, or learning a new skill, you had to push through moments of doubt, exhaustion, and frustration. But when you look back, you realize that those tough moments were essential to your growth. they made the achievement all the more meaningful. During challenging times, it's important to remember that we are not alone. Everyone experiences hardship, and many people around us are also fighting battles we may not see. The support of others, whether it's family, friends, or even a mentor, can make all the difference. Sometimes, simply knowing that someone else believes in us can help us keep going when we feel like giving up. And in turn, when we push through our own struggles, we become an inspiration to others who might be facing their own challenges. Our perseverance becomes a light, showing others that it's possible to keep going, no matter how difficult the journey may be. Taking things one step at a time can make the process feel more manageable. When we break down our goals into smaller, achievable tasks, we can focus on progress rather than perfection. Each small victory, no matter how insignificant it may seem, brings us closer to our ultimate goal. It's also worth noting that patience isn't passive. It's an active form of trust in the process, a commitment to continuous effort, and an acceptance of things unfolding in their own time. Being patient doesn't mean doing nothing or resigning yourself to waiting idly. Instead, it involves perseverance, focus, and the understanding that the right outcomes will materialize when the time is right. It's about taking small, consistent steps and trusting that each one brings you closer to your goal, even if it feels slow or uncertain at times. In conclusion, the art of patience is a powerful tool for achieving lasting success and happiness. While it's tempting to seek immediate results, the most meaningful achievements require time to cultivate. By embracing patience, we give ourselves the opportunity to grow, learn, and achieve things that are truly worth having. We stop rushing the process and start enjoying the journey. Good things take time, and those who have the patience to wait for them are often the ones who experience the most profound and fulfilling rewards. So, take a deep breath, trust the process, and know that the best things in life are worth the wait. Number 5. Focus on the process over the outcome. Focusing on the process over the outcome is a powerful mindset that can transform how we approach challenges, goals, and personal growth. In today's fast-paced, result-driven world, we are often conditioned to prioritize the end result, whether it's a promotion at work, a completed project, or a personal achievement. This fixation on outcomes can create stress, frustration, and a constant sense of dissatisfaction, as the journey towards the goal often gets overshadowed by the pressure to succeed. However, by shifting our focus to the process, we open ourselves up to a more fulfilling and sustainable way of achieving success. When we focus on the process, we embrace the journey itself, regardless of the final result. This approach emphasizes learning, growth, and improvement, rather than the mere attainment of a specific goal. It allows us to appreciate each step along the way, building resilience and skill in the process. The key here is to recognize that the process is where true development happens. Success is not always measured by the completion of a task or the achievement of a goal, but by the progress we make and the lessons we learn along the way. One of the most significant benefits of focusing on the process is that it helps reduce anxiety and pressure. When we are fixated on the outcome, we often become consumed by fear of failure or disappointment, which can paralyze us from taking action. Focusing on the process, on the other hand, frees us from this fear. It encourages us to view each step as an opportunity to learn and improve, regardless of how small or imperfect it may seem. This mindset fosters a sense of curiosity, allowing us to enjoy the work itself rather than worrying about how it will turn out. Moreover, focusing on the process fosters consistency and discipline. It's easy to become discouraged when the outcome we desire feels distant or out of reach. When we measure success only by the end result, we may be tempted to give up too soon or lose motivation when faced with setbacks. By centering our attention on the process, however, we are more likely to stay committed and continue working even when progress is slow. We begin to see the value in persistence, in taking small, steady steps that compound over time. In this way, focusing on the process helps us build the habits and routines necessary for long-term success. This shift in perspective also allows for a deeper connection to our work. When we focus on the process, we're more likely to find meaning in what we do, regardless of the external rewards or recognition. Instead of feeling like a means to an end, the work itself becomes the reward. This intrinsic motivation is much more sustainable than the fleeting satisfaction that comes from achieving a specific outcome. We find joy in the act of creation, in the problem-solving, the learning, and the personal growth that occurs throughout the journey. In practice, focusing on the process can be particularly effective in creative endeavors. For example, in a YouTube channel that features high-quality story reading content, focusing on the process means investing time in research, developing ideas, perfecting scripts, and improving voice acting skills without obsessing over the number of views or subscribers. The act of crafting the story, refining the narration, and experimenting with new techniques becomes the true measure of success. As you hone these skills, the content you create will inevitably improve, and the audience will respond in kind. However, it's the commitment to the process that leads to long-term growth, not the pursuit of short-term outcomes. Another crucial aspect of focusing on the process is that it encourages flexibility and adaptability. When we are too attached to a specific outcome, we may become rigid in our approach and resistant to change. The process-oriented mindset, however, encourages experimentation and iteration. We are more open to adjusting our methods, trying new approaches, and learning from feedback. This openness to change helps us stay agile and adaptable in the face of challenges, allowing us to pivot when necessary and find better solutions to problems. Ultimately, focusing on the process over the outcome is about embracing the journey of self-improvement. It's a reminder that success is not a destination, but a continual progression. By valuing the steps we take and the growth we experience along the way, we can find fulfillment in every stage of the process, rather than placing all our happiness in the end result. This mindset not only improves our work and productivity, but also enriches our lives, helping us appreciate the present moment and build a lasting sense of accomplishment that goes beyond external rewards. Number 6. Repeat to make it a habit. Building a habit is a journey, and like any journey, it requires persistence, focus, and time. The idea of forming habits often sounds simple. Do something enough times, and it becomes second nature. But what many don't realize is that repetition is the key element in transforming any action into a consistent part of your routine. Repetition is the cornerstone upon which habits are built, and understanding its role is crucial to mastering the process of habit formation. At the heart of habit building is the concept of neuroplasticity, which refers to the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. When we repeat an action, our brain strengthens the neural pathways associated with that action. Over time, as the repetition continues, these pathways become more efficient, making the action feel automatic. This process is much like training a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it becomes. In the case of habits, the more you repeat a behavior, the easier it becomes to perform, and eventually you no longer have to consciously think about it. Repetition, however, is not just about doing something over and over. It's about doing it with consistency and intention. When trying to form a new habit, it's important to repeat the desired action regularly, ideally at the same time each day, or in the same context. This consistency creates structure and helps your brain anticipate the behavior, reinforcing the neural connections that support it. For example, if you want to develop the habit of exercising every morning, doing it at the same time each day will create a mental framework around that action. Soon, the thought of exercising in the morning will feel natural, as your brain has associated that specific time with physical activity. It's also important to recognize that the power of repetition is cumulative. Every time you perform a habit, it reinforces the mental pathways that make it easier to perform next time. While early attempts at habit formation may feel like a struggle, the more you repeat the behavior, the less effort it requires. This is because, over time, the habit becomes ingrained in your subconscious mind. This shift from conscious effort to subconscious action is one of the primary indicators that a habit has truly taken root. However, it's crucial to understand that repetition alone is not enough to make a habit stick. You need to be patient and realistic. Habits don't form overnight. In fact, Research suggests that it takes anywhere from 18 to 254 days for a behavior to become automatic, with an average of around 66 days. The key here is persistence. The process of habit formation is gradual, and during this period it's normal to face setbacks or feel discouraged. But remember, every time you repeat the behavior, you're one step closer to making it a permanent part of your routine. Another aspect of repetition in habit building is the need for reinforcement. Celebrating small wins, no matter how minor they seem, can boost your motivation and encourage you to keep going. Positive reinforcement strengthens the connection between the behavior and the reward, making it more likely that you'll repeat it again. This can be as simple as acknowledging your success after completing a workout, or rewarding yourself with something enjoyable after reaching a goal. The more you associate the habit with positive feelings, the more likely you are to continue repeating it. It's also helpful to break down larger goals into smaller, more manageable tasks. Repetition becomes much more effective when the task is clear and achievable. If you're trying to form the habit of writing every day, for example, don't pressure yourself to write a 1,000-word essay right away. Instead, start with a small, manageable goal like writing for 10 minutes each day. As you continue to repeat this action, you'll naturally find yourself writing more over time. The key is consistency, not intensity. Sometimes the biggest barrier to habit formation is overcoming inertia, the initial resistance to starting. This is where repetition can truly make a difference. Even if you don't feel like doing the behavior, pushing through the initial discomfort is often enough to establish the habit. This is why small, incremental steps are so important. If you consistently repeat the behavior, even when it feels difficult, it gradually becomes easier, and before long the task becomes an automatic part of your routine. In conclusion, repetition is the foundation of habit formation. Through consistent and intentional repetition, you can rewire your brain to make new behaviors automatic, reducing the need for conscious effort. By being patient, realistic, and focused on small wins, you increase the likelihood of success. Repetition doesn't just strengthen the habit itself, it strengthens your resolve and determination to push through challenges. The more you repeat, the more you evolve. And before long, you'll find that what once seemed like a difficult task has become an effortless part of your life. So, the next time you set out to form a new habit, remember, success is in the repetition. Keep at it, and over time, your desired behavior will transform from a conscious effort to an automatic routine. Number 7. Failure is just a stepping stone. Failure is often viewed as the end of a journey, a moment of defeat, or a reflection of personal inadequacy. Yet in reality, failure is not something to be feared or avoided. Rather, it is a crucial and inevitable part of growth and success. Think of failure as a stepping stone, an essential element in the process of personal development and achievement. It may feel like a setback in the moment, but the lessons it imparts are invaluable and necessary for future success. At its core, failure challenges our assumptions, pushes us outside our comfort zones, and forces us to confront our limitations. It presents an opportunity to evaluate our approach, reassess our goals, and refine our strategies. Without failure, we would be left with a narrow view of what is possible, and the potential for growth would be stifled. Every great achievement, whether in the world of business, sports, or personal development, has been preceded by moments of failure. Take the example of Thomas Edison, whose countless unsuccessful attempts to invent the light bulb are often overlooked in favor of his ultimate success. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison understood that each failure was not a mark of incompetence, but a valuable lesson in how to approach his goal from a different angle. When we fail, we are forced to become more resilient. The fear of failure often holds people back from taking risks, trying new things, or pursuing their passions. However, it is in those moments of discomfort and challenge that we grow the most. Failure teaches us patience, perseverance, and the ability to adapt. When we fail, we gain new perspectives that help us approach future tasks with greater wisdom. This shift in mindset is fundamental to progress. Instead of seeing failure as a dead end, we can learn to see it as a signpost guiding us toward a better, more refined path. In addition to fostering resilience, failure also encourages innovation. When one approach doesn't work, we are forced to think creatively and come up with alternative solutions. It ignites our problem-solving abilities and drives us to innovate. Many groundbreaking inventions, discoveries, and works of art have emerged from the ashes of failure. For instance, the early versions of many now famous tech products, such as the iPhone or the first personal computers, were riddled with flaws and failures. However, these failures led to important improvements that brought the technology closer to perfection. By embracing failure, we allow ourselves the freedom to experiment, to think outside the box, and to discover new paths to success. Furthermore, failure is a powerful teacher. It is through failure that we learn what doesn't work, and more importantly, why it doesn't work. Understanding the reasons behind our failures allows us to refine our methods and strategies moving forward. In this sense, failure is not a reflection of our worth, but a tool for learning. It provides us with direct feedback, which is crucial for improvement. By analyzing our mistakes, we gain valuable insights that can inform our future decisions. This learning process is what turns failure into a stepping stone, rather than a stumbling block. Another key aspect of failure as a stepping stone is the role it plays in shaping our character. Failure humbles us, teaching us that we are not infallible and that perfection is not always achievable. It fosters empathy and compassion, as we realize that everyone, regardless of their success, has experienced failure at some point. In this way, failure brings us closer to others and helps us develop the emotional intelligence needed to navigate life's challenges. It's important to note that failure does not mean giving up. In fact, one of the most valuable lessons failure imparts is the importance of persistence. It teaches us that setbacks are temporary and that perseverance is the key to overcoming obstacles. It is easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned, but history is filled with examples of individuals who faced failure after failure, only to ultimately achieve their goals. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination, and Oprah Winfrey was told she was unfit for television. Yet both went on to become icons in their respective fields. Their stories are a testament to the power of persistence and the value of embracing failure as part of the journey toward success. In conclusion, failure is not something to fear, but rather an essential and transformative element of success. It is a stepping stone that provides us with opportunities to learn, grow, innovate, and refine our paths. The lessons learned from failure shape us into stronger, more resilient individuals and help us develop the tools needed to achieve our dreams. So, the next time you face failure, remember that it is not the end but simply a step along the way. Embrace it, learn from it, and use it to propel yourself forward, knowing that it is just a part of the greater journey toward success. In conclusion, the key to mastering consistency isn't about waiting for motivation to strike, but about embracing the Stoic mindset. It's about recognizing that we have control over our actions, even when we can't control our emotions or external circumstances. By committing to small, consistent steps, we cultivate discipline and resilience over time. Remember, consistency isn't about perfection, it's about progress. So, the next time you're faced with a challenge, remind yourself, I have the power to keep going no matter what. Thank you for watching, and if you found this valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who could benefit from a bit of Stoic wisdom. Stay consistent and take care.